The movie opens aboard a boat where two guards haul a sealed Iron Maiden from the depths of the ocean under the command of a mysterious woman named Discord. Trapped inside the Iron Maiden is Gwyn, an immortal who has been imprisoned underwater for the past 500 years, endlessly drowning and reviving in complete isolation. Meanwhile, in Split, Croatia, Andy, now mortal, joins her team on a dangerous mission. Her team includes Niall, Joe, and Nikki, all immortals, as well as Copley, a non-immortal ally. Their objective: eliminate a new and powerful threat to the world known as the Conrads. As guards surround the targeted building, Andy instructs Joe and Nikki to take the hedge maze route, while she and Copley discreetly neutralize a guard without raising an alarm. Joe and Nikki silently take down two guards near the maze. One of the guards manages to cut Joe's finger, but Joe quickly kills him and reattaches his finger as it heals instantly. The two then steal a pair of cars from the compound, drawing the guards into a chase to create a diversion. Inside the compound, Andy and Copley make their way in undetected. Outside, Niall monitors the situation from her boat, alerting the team that the guards are loading weapons and preparing to move. Back inside, as three guards approach, Andy draws her sword and swiftly eliminates them. When another wave of guards approaches, she flanks the building and dispatches them with brutal efficiency. While Joe and Nikki continue the high-speed chase to distract the enemy, Niall eliminates a guard and storms the compound with her boat. Inside, Andy continues her fight, while Copley handles two guards of his own, narrowly emerging victorious. Niall climbs the building and takes out a sniper attempting to shoot her. Suddenly, Conrad himself appears and shoots her, but she heals instantly. She leaps from the rooftop, crashing through a window just as Andy hurls another guard out of it. Reunited, Niall and Andy press forward to complete their mission. Meanwhile, Joe and Nikki encounter a blockade of enemy guards. Joe urges Nikki to jump into his car. Nikki crashes his vehicle into the guards, but the impact fractures his ankle. Thankfully, due to his immortality, it heals quickly. He then takes out a guard on a motorcycle and jumps into Joe's car. The duo speeds away, only to crash into another guard vehicle, sending their car flipping over the bridge and plunging into the ocean below. Back inside the building, Niall and Andy take down the remaining guards with relentless force. They eventually confront and kill Conrad, shooting him and sending him plummeting off the building to his death. Meanwhile, in the waters below, Joe and Nikki manage to survive the crash and make it out alive. Later, the team regroups at their cabin. They spend the evening playing games, drinking, and celebrating their hard-fought victory. During this downtime, Copley receives a message from a contact who reveals a shocking twist: Conrad wasn't the real buyer. The true mastermind is Discord. Suddenly, Niall shares a disturbing vision she's been having in her dreams. In it, Discord appears in an ancient room filled with books, alongside a man whose face she can't quite make out. Discord then stabs the man and begins collecting books from the shelves, as if she's preparing for something. Meanwhile, in Paris, France, Booker returns home, only to find Gwyn already waiting inside, holding him at gunpoint. She coldly tells him she's been waiting a long time and demands to know the whereabouts of Andromache, Andy. Without hesitation, she kidnaps Booker and drives off with him. In a remote countryside hideout, Gwyn ties Booker up and confronts him, demanding he tell her where Andy is. But Booker genuinely doesn't know. He explains that he's been exiled from the group. Gwyn, consumed with rage and heartbreak, lashes out. She reveals that while she was trapped for centuries at the bottom of the ocean, she believed Andy was suffering the same fate. All she ever wanted was to reunite and save her. But now she's discovered the cruel truth. Andy has been free for 500 years and never came looking for her. Joe arrives in Paris to look for Booker, not knowing Nikki, and Niall had secretly followed him and meets him at Booker's place, only to find it empty. They quickly realize Booker is missing, and the real fight is far from over. Meanwhile, Andy and Copley arrive in Seoul, South Korea, where they meet with a wise, sage-like immortal named Tua, known for his deep understanding of their origins. Inside Tua's secluded home, Andy questions him about Discord and her true intentions. Tua leads them to his hidden library, a vast archive of ancient scrolls and relics tied to immortal history. There, he explains that it was Discord who appeared in Niall's visions. She had stolen sacred books containing the history of all immortals, with a special focus on Andy herself. Then, Tua reveals a shocking truth. Discord is actually the first immortal, not Andy, as many had believed. A flashback takes us 500 years into the past, during the harrowing moment when Gwyn was captured and sealed in an Iron Maiden, cast into the ocean. Both Tua and Discord were present during her imprisonment, but powerless to intervene. Now that Discord possesses the ancient texts, Tua fears what she might be planning. Andy then confides in Tua, admitting she has lost her immortality, a secret she's determined to keep from Discord at all costs. Later, Andy and Copley return to reunite with Niall, Joe, and Nikki, bringing Tua with them. Niall informs Andy of Booker's disappearance. Suddenly, Joe receives a phone call. It's Booker, requesting a private meeting. Joe and Nikki meet Booker, who insists on speaking to Andy directly. When they finally reunite, Booker breaks the news. Gwyn has returned. He hands Andy a letter from Gwyn, urging her to come find her. Determined to face the past, Andy prepares to leave. Niall, unwilling to let her go alone, chooses to accompany her. As they set off, Andy is struck by a powerful flashback. Centuries ago, when a village burned around her, she had nearly killed a man in rage, but Gwyn stopped her, urging mercy. Later, Niall finds Andy alone in the bathroom, believing she had left without her. She sees how emotionally drained Andy is, worried that Gwyn may not recognize the person she's become. Gently, Niall reassures her, reminding her that no matter what's changed, they'll face it together. Andy and Niall arrive in Rome, Italy, where Andy ventures out alone to find Gwyn, while Niall stays behind to keep watch. Eventually, Andy locates Gwyn and approaches her with deep remorse, apologizing for failing to search for her all these years. But Gwyn, overwhelmed by the pain and rage of centuries spent drowning and reviving in isolation, can't forgive her so easily. Niall, watching from a distance, witnesses their tense reunion. Andy pleads again, urging Gwyn to return home and rejoin the team. But Gwyn, consumed by bitterness, snaps, turning away abruptly. Andy follows her. Meanwhile, Niall spots Discord nearby and quietly begins to follow her. As Andy catches up to Gwyn, tensions erupt. When Andy tries to stop her, Gwyn lashes out, overpowering her and knocking her to the ground. The two begin to fight fiercely. Just as things escalate, Niall arrives and breaks them up, warning them about Discord's presence. She quickly continues her pursuit of Discord. Moments later, Andy makes a disturbing discovery. Gwyn is working with Discord. Shocked and betrayed, she confronts Gwyn again, and the two clash in a brutal combat sequence. Andy tries to reason with her, but Gwyn knocks her down and rips off the old necklace she once gave Andy. Without another word, she flees. Meanwhile, Niall finally catches up to Discord. In a cryptic and chilling confrontation, Discord reveals her vision. She is the first immortal, and Niall will be the last. She proclaims that no new immortals will ever be born after Niall, and that together, they will someday end all immortal interference in the world. Niall, confused and shaken, realizes they both share an identical, mysterious birthmark, hinting at a deep, shared destiny. Later that night, Booker meets with Tua in the secret library. Tua shares a dark theory. He believes Niall is what the ancient texts call the Destroyer. According to legend, if Niall wounds an immortal, that person loses their healing ability, and therefore their immortality. However, the legend also says that the wounded immortal may be able to transfer their immortality to another before it's lost, opening the possibility that Andy could regain her immortality. Tua asks Booker if Niall ever injured Andy. Booker recalls that during their first meeting in the previous movie, the two fought, and Niall did indeed wound Andy. That, Tua concludes, is when Andy lost her immortality. This revelation leads them to a grim possibility. Discord plans to use Niall to eliminate all immortals. Elsewhere, Discord meets with Gwyn, who expresses her desire to make Andy and the others suffer. Discord agrees, and the two form a dangerous alliance. In Jakarta, Indonesia, at the Serpong nuclear facility, Gwyn arrives in a truck, drawing the attention of the armed guards. As they prepare to fire, she speeds toward them and crashes the vehicle. Playing dead, she waits until the guards approach, then suddenly rises and kills them all with the help of a squad of soldiers she brought with her. With the facility now under their control, Gwyn strides forward carrying a mysterious bag, ready to unleash whatever plan she and Discord have set in motion. Back at home base, Booker and Tua secretly test a theory. Booker challenges Niall to a sparring match, seemingly for training, but with a hidden motive. During the fight, Booker deliberately allows himself to be cut by Niall's knife, hoping to confirm whether she truly has the power to strip immortality. Afterward, Tua inspects Booker's wound, and the truth is undeniable. The injury isn't healing. Booker has lost his immortality. Realizing his time may be limited, Booker makes a bold decision. He will pass on his immortality to Andy before it's too late. However, he keeps this revelation to himself and Tua, hiding it from the rest of the group. Later, Booker meets with Andy. When she notices something off and asks if he's okay, he brushes it off with a smile, concealing his injury beneath his clothes. That night, the team receives a dire alert. Gwyn and her soldiers have seized control of a nuclear facility in Jakarta, where they've already planted explosives. The planned detonation threatens to irradiate the entire region, potentially wiping out 10 million people. Despite knowing it's likely a trap, Andy declares that they have no choice. They must stop Gwyn and Discord. Meanwhile, Joe meets Nikki outside for a quiet moment. Joe confesses his fear that their journey together may soon come to an end. Nikki gently reassures him, expressing his unwavering love and reminding him of how far they've come together. Later, the group arrives at the nuclear facility on motorcycles, entering the compound under the cover of darkness. Copley, stationed in a nearby vehicle, feeds them critical intel through radio comms. As the team reaches the reactor chamber, they're suddenly ambushed. A wave of armed guards emerges. Surprisingly, the guards drop their firearms, initiating a brutal hand-to-hand battle. Chaos erupts as the Immortals engage the guards. During the fight, Nikki is shot, but Joe rushes to his side and swiftly takes out the attacker. Wounded but still healing, Nikki continues the mission. Nikki, Joe, and Tua break off and head toward the control room, guided by Copley's directions. They fight their way through enemy guards, eventually breaching the room and neutralizing the remaining threats. Meanwhile, Andy, Booker, and Niall are still locked in intense combat near the reactor. At one point, Andy is struck with a powerful taser, dropping her to the ground. Niall rushes to help, diving toward her but falling in the process. Andy recovers just in time to dispatch a final wave of guards. Back in the control room, disaster strikes. The doors lock behind the trio, and the manual override panel is missing. Suddenly, liquid nitrogen gas begins to pour in, freezing the room as the team realizes they've been trapped. Guards storm in and begin dragging the team away, unconscious and vulnerable. Outside, Copley hears strange noises near his vehicle and steps out to investigate. He's ambushed by a group of guards, and over the team's comms, they hear the sound of the struggle. It's the last thing they hear before the line goes silent. Back in the reactor room, Andy is restrained by several guards. But just as things seem bleak, Booker arrives and fights them off, saving her in the nick of time. In a powerful act of sacrifice, Booker transfers his immortality to Andy, reviving her ability to heal and regenerate. As she takes out a group of approaching guards with renewed strength, Andy realizes it's true. She's immortal once more. Booker, now fully mortal, reveals what he's done. He smiles faintly, knowing he's given her a second chance. But as another wave of guards advances, Booker locks Andy out of the room, choosing to fight alone. Though shot multiple times, he pushes forward with unwavering resolve, taking down every guard in a desperate final stand. But his wounds are fatal. Booker falls, lifeless, as Andy screams in anguish. Meanwhile, Niall, having survived her earlier fall, reaches the facility's main chamber where the bomb is located. There, she finds Gwyn and pleads with her to stop the detonation. But Gwyn refuses, still fueled by pain and betrayal. The two engage in a fierce, emotional battle. In the heat of the fight, Niall accidentally slashes Gwyn, stripping her of her immortality. Shocked, Gwyn collapses, wounded and vulnerable. At that moment, Discord emerges and drives a blade into Niall's chest, then disappears as guards drag Niall away. Moments later, Andy finds a wounded Gwyn, sitting alone, trying to disarm the final bomb. It turns out Discord betrayed her too, planning to kill millions, including Gwyn. Andy helps stop the device just in time. Realizing her friends are in danger, Andy races to the landing pad and sees Discord escaping with the others in helicopters. She manages to leap onto one, smashing through the window, but a guard throws her off midair. This sets the stage for the final confrontation between Andy, now immortal again, and Discord. As they fight brutally atop a flying helicopter, Discord initially gains the upper hand, slicing into Andy with deadly precision. But during the clash, Andy discovers that Discord can no longer heal. The truth is revealed. Discord has lost her immortality and is now fighting for her life like any mortal. Her twisted plan had been to use Niall's power to strip the Immortals of their healing, so she could reclaim it for herself. Discord stabs Andy repeatedly, leaving her bloodied and barely conscious. Using the distraction, she escapes with the captives. But as Andy lies wounded, she swears she's not giving up, promising to come for her friends. Later, Andy returns to Tua's library, searching for a way to stop Discord. There, she reunites with Gwyn, and the two finally reconcile. Andy tends to Gwyn's injuries, and the two rest together in quiet understanding. By morning, the path is clear. Mortal and immortal alike now stand side by side, ready to face the rising storm. Together, they prepare to confront Discord and rescue the old guard, leaving the story on a thrilling cliffhanger. To be continued. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more epic recaps.